Is this thing on?
Welcome back to another episode of Spoiled Life Live. I am your host, Ram Garcia. We're in beautiful Corpus Christi, Texas, where it's cold. Everybody's wearing their hoodies, sweaters. Everybody's probably nice and cozy in their blankets. They probably have a nice bowl of hot menudo or chili or caldo, right? I have a cup of hot cocoa, right?
With marshmallows.
I mean, it ain't that cold, right? It's cold. It's colder than it was yesterday. That's for sure, right? And if you're in the water, you're definitely cold, right? By the water, it's cold. The Corpus Christi area is also the home of the Corpus Christi Hooks, the home of Whataburger. We're the home of about 6 taquerias. You know, we're also the home of the Selena statue. What else are we the home of? Not the main event home of, but we're also the home of a bunch of water, right? Some of the
Laguna Madre.
The Laguna Madre is
Best
one
in the
of
world.
them, right? Baffin Bay, close to Baffin Bay. We have Copano towards the north, right? Northwestish, around there. But we are also home, which brings us to my guest today. We're also the home of the Heroes on the Water, Coastal Bend chapter, right? And I have none other than Mr. Briones from the Coastal Bend chapter in the house, right? Thank you so much
Thank you, Ram. I appreciate
for coming on the show.
Oh, man, it was my pleasure. I appreciate you and Roy's Bait and Tackle for allowing me the opportunity to visit with your audience and tell our story about how and some kayaking and fishing stuff.
Right.
So,
I've been around. I haven't been around a long time, right? Here come Monday, I've been around for I'm not going to say the number, for quite a while, right? That's another surprise. There's some that entered a birthday bash spool away, right? It wasn't a giveaway. Nowadays you get in trouble for saying giveaway, right? So it was a birthday bash spool away, right? We got the names of y'all right here, right? It's too late to enter. Maybe not. Go ahead and enter. We might put your name in there, but it is kind of too late, right? Maybe, depending who you are. I'm just playing. We're gonna choose a name out of that list, and somebody's gonna win a whole bunch of good stuff. But moving on, let's get started, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, actually, there's a lot about myself since I'm 75 years old, so I've been around almost a century. But I retired Command Sergeant Major, United States Army, after 23 years, and I'm also a retired American Electric Power Company. Started back in the days when it was CP&L back in 1970.
Oh yeah.
So I've had 2 careers. Plus, I've also worn a badge for several years in law enforcement, especially up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, when I was up there. But other than that, I'm an avid fisherman, just like everybody else. Maybe not so much today because of my age, but I still have a boat and I still get out and I still have fish in the freezer. I started when I was 13 years old fishing. And we're going to get to fishing. We'll get to Heroes on the Water in just a little while. But I started fishing when I was 13 years old. And, of course, some of you are probably old enough to be my sons or maybe even a grandson and granddaughter. That was 1963. And, I lived with my mom. We lived alone. And she bought me a rod and reel at a garage sale. And I had a bike. And we lived near 6 Points at the time on a garage apartment. And she was always gone because she did shift work. And bless that lady, man. I tell you what, she's just a wonderful woman. But anyway, she's in heaven now. But so I used to go fishing on Ocean Drive. And I know you guys are old enough to remember, but the Cole Park wasn't there. the condominiums that wasn't there, and the beach area wasn't hardly there.
T-heads?
The T-heads were there. Yeah, didn't go far that back, buddy, but yeah, they were there. The jetties were there, but when you get past Shoreline or Ocean Drive, that bluff just went straight down. It went straight down, and there was water, salt water there, and water slapping and stuff. And I used nothing but lures. Back in those days, there were not anything special. They were just similar to the lures we got today, except they weren't scented and they didn't have rattles, but they had different colors, and they didn't have the split tails or the paddle tails, just like a worm type deal. But in those days, and this is what really. By the way, I'm also a vice president for Coastal Conservation Association. I'm a communications VP for them here at this chapter in Corpus, and I've been with them for a long while. But that brings me to the point I'm fixing to make, that when I fished there, it was nothing for me to catch whiting, sand trout as big as a 15, 17-inch drum today.
Oh, really?
Not going to do it today. They're gone. They're gone. And so that's a lot of things we need to consider as far as conservation is concerned. So I'm real big in that too, guys. But so anyway, I went on from fishing off my bike, grew up, started wade fishing. My favorite spot was Sulphur Flats. And I'd pull off there on the frontage road, and I'd have my rod and reel on the net and a pair of pliers. We didn't have the booties. We didn't have the ray guards. No, we had tennis shoes, and shorts. And back then, there's two guts there, or two cuts. The first cut is fairly shallow, but back in those days, it was up all the way up to my chin. And I'd get across that and go to the next cut, where all the road traffic is now. And I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to, because I don't care much for flounder. But that was my flounder hole. Man, I would just walk up and down that
Was there a
little
lot
channel.
of people there fishing?
Back
While you
then?
were
Oh,
fishing?
no. Back then, they didn't even have windsurfers back then either.
Right.
Oh, yeah, no, it was a whole different world back then in there. They didn't have all the estuaries. A lot of those islands have birds
No
and
cell
stuff.
phones,
Yeah.
no nothing.
Man, everything's grown,
PlayStation.
everything's different.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, man, I used to come back with a flounder on that thing. That was the days that I used to like flounder, and I didn't mind messing with them. But today, you couldn't give me one. But
Really?
well, my favorite is believe it or not, is a black drum.
Okay.
I would prefer that than I would a redfish or a trout or a flounder any day.
Right.
And they're more of a challenge to me to catch unless you use dead bait. And I don't use bait. My boat hasn't seen live shrimp or live bait but twice in 12 years. And that's only because someone wanted it. Otherwise, I'm strictly lures, and I enjoy that. And back in my days, there was no fluorocarbon.
Just mono.
Just mono. That's all you had, If you were smart enough, and I wasn't, you could probably use a heavier weight on mono as a leader.
Right.
You could use 50, 40 pound rather than the 12 pound that that's the maximum I use, is 12 to 14 pounds on mine, and I've never had one bust. My knots will bust before the line does. But when fluorocarbon became popular, when I said, you know what, I'm going to change. And so all of my leaders became fluorocarbon, and still, till today, I have not had any leaders, regardless of whether it's fluorocarbon or mono, bust on me, except for a knot. That's about the only thing. And I used the little quick release clips.
Yeah.
Where I can change one lure after another without having to tie knots and stuff. And to me, because I do a lot of sight casting, which is what I do now, more so than blind casting, I felt that was a really quick way for me to introduce several lures on one drift. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because I've been with friends that strictly tie knots, and I'll cast 4 or 5 times before they finish tying that knot.
Right.
And no telling what they missed. 'Cause I've never had one of those clips fail. And I've been using them for at least 8 or 9 years. It's just amazing. my favorite places to fish, and like I said, I do have fish in the freezer. I don't go any further south than the bird. What is it?
Bird Island.
Bird Island. Yeah, I don't go any further south than Bird Island, and I don't go any further north than Kate's Hole or Dead Man's Hole or the Boat Hole, and and I'm not the type that I only keep fish maybe 2 to 3 times a year that I go fish. Otherwise,
Really?
Otherwise, I just do it for the fun, to keep my skills up, and just spend some time out there relaxing. And that's the key thing about fishing. I think whether it's wading, boating, kayaking, it's the relaxation point. And we'll get to that here in a little while when we start talking about Heroes in the Water.
Right.
But my favorite lure to start off with is a split tail lure. And my favorite color to start off with is a bubblegum pink.
Mm.
And if that doesn't, and that's when I'm side casting. Now, when I'm blind casting, I like to start off with a gold spoon with the little orange skirt in the back. And then around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I start with top waters if the winds are good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If the winds are going to create a lot of action, then top waters is what I finish with. So that's pretty much it, man. I've gone from wade fishing, bicycling to fish, to wade fishing, to owning a boat, several boats. I lived on the island. It was very convenient for me to fish, and I love it. I just don't do enough of it like I used to.
Right. Age
Age
catches up to us.
Yeah, and I'm retired, so I have no excuse, But the thing
Right.
is, I can't find anybody that's off during the weekday. And
That's true.
And weekends, you know how it is, man. It's packed out there. You
telling
know,
you right
and
now.
the pressure on those fish and those boats doing 70, 80 miles an hour and stuff. And
Yeah. If you invite me, I will call in
I'll do that.
just to go on a trip
I'll
with you,
do-
Mr.
I'll
Reynolds.
do
But
that.
first, yesterday was Veterans Day. Right?
Yes, sir.
I want to say thank you for your service. Thank you for all the viewers. For if y'all are veterans, right? This one's for you all. Happy Veterans Day to you, Mr. Briones,
Thank you, sir.
and to the rest of the Spooled Live fans.
Absolutely. I want to thank everybody that served. That's what Veterans Day is about. So,
Yep. All right. Mr. Austin is in the house. Steve Hernandez. Jeremy Torres is in the house.
oh no,
Galito
I taught him how to
Santos.
fish.
John Martinez. Moving along, man. So this is what everybody has been waiting for. This next question, right? If you're just tuning in, we're in the beautiful Corpus Christi Roy's Bait and Tackle Studio. We're live here. If y'all are in town, probably most of y'all are not. Y'all are probably just barely waking up, right? The weather change, even the time change, has got everybody, mixed up. I barely wanted to wake up, right? But if y'all are, go drop y'all's wives off at the Palmera Mall, and cruise into Roy's Bait and Tackle. Come up and, we might even pass you a ice cold Karbach while y'all are here. You're standing and checking out the show. Today we're drinking You'll Shoot Your Eye Out. That's this brand. It's a major award. It's 5.6% alcohol, right? And 12 fluid ounces. Just perfect to get you nice.
It's my
and
first time.
hydrated.
It's my first time tasting it and drinking
It's
it.
good.
It's good.
It's
It
not
is.
too bad.
It goes down
we're
really
gonna
easy.
top it
yeah.
off with
Yeah.
some beer salt from Twang, right?
Yeah.
However you want to do
Whatever
it.
works.
Yeah, whatever works. Whatever gets it down fast.
Yeah.
Help yourself.
But you were talking about the weather, Ramp, and to me, if you dress like a duck hunter, my favorite fishing is going to be when we get a couple of cold fronts, freezes, and get in that deep water.
For sure.
That to me, and here again, it's strictly lures. I'll fish down the bottoms and just fish real slowly and stuff. And
Right.
and I'm surprised a lot of times I'll pull out a trout. And this is just a trout, but I'm sure other species may be the same. But the ones I see, I'll pull out a trout. And of course, Jeremy, you mentioned Jeremy Todd was there. And, him and I have fished before in the wintertime, and he knows what I'm talking about. But every once in a while, I'll pull out a trout that's apparently is sucked into the mud to stay warm
Mm-hmm.
because they got worms in their stomach. And I'd never seen that until I fished in winter.
Right.
Do you know if that happens in the summer, that they got worms?
I don't know. I know they'll get like a rash on their bottom,
Uh-huh.
on their bellies. They'll get rash being on the bottom for so long.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I've never seen one with worms, but I did
Yeah.
see. I was gonna wait for the current events section
Oh.
that I created.
Uh-huh.
Right. I'm just kidding. I saw there's a post going around of a fish somebody caught, and that fish had worms, and he had filleted the fish. You could see the worms, and he was pulling the worms out and eating them.
Oh, no.
So he was saying that they were saying that the worms aren't harmful to humans,
Whatever.
right? So hey, I don't know. I'm just
Yeah.
I don't catch fish big enough for it to have worms, so I wouldn't know. Maybe it's
Yeah.
something we could try live.
Yeah,
here.
I've never
the next
caught
show.
a red with worms, and but trout
Uh-huh.
I did in the wintertime. That's what amazes me. That's
What's the biggest trout you've caught?
29 inch.
Do you see a difference? I want to get into that later,
Uh-huh.
but a difference from then till now
Oh, God.
in trout quality?
Since the freeze?
That one's later.
Oh, okay.
But just being your age, in a nice way.
No, I'll have to admit that locally, I mean, if you want a 30 inch or above or something, you've got to go to Baffin Bay probably.
Mhm.
But locally, I have not seen a big quantity of large trout. You can catch 12, 13, 15 inch trout all day long, which is a good sign because they're coming back. That just shows that they're coming back, and
Right.
I think they grow like 12 inches the first year, and then they start getting bigger. If I remember correctly, I may be wrong, but yeah, I see the quantity of trout has really increased since the freeze, which is, like I said, a good sign. Redfish seem to be doing well, and the flounder,
Mhm.
but big trout.
No. We're going to get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
But first, let's talk about. Let me get sodiumed up here, real quick. The doctor said I needed to pick my sodium levels up a
You know,
little
I'm
bit.
gonna
He
try
said
some
he
of
don't
that.
care how you do it, you just go ahead and do it, right? So I said okay. Heroes on the water, right? We got it. You got it on your cap. You got it on your shirt. I got it on my koozie, right?
Yeah,
Mr.
we do.
Briones does as well. I tell you what, if you are cruising around here and you go drop your wife off at the mall, bring your wife over here, the first person that comes up these stairs and gives me a thumbs up, if you're around here, I'm gonna give you a Heroes on the Water koozie, right? You okay with that?
Oh yeah, man, you got to have one of these.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, you
It's
got to have one of these. Yeah.
if you haven't checked it out.
Yeah,
Right.
especially I wish I could turn it over because there's a Texas flag in the bottom.
Oh, really?
Watch it, don't spill it.
Right? Oh yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Heroes on the Water. Tell us about that.
Oh man, I could go all day talking about Heroes in the Water. 'Cause I have experienced so much in the 10 years that I've been involved with Heroes in the Water, and it's just amazing. But I'm going to start off first of all with the actual founder of Heroes on the Water, and he's a retired colonel, Gulf War veteran, Jim Dolan, who wasn't but a couple of years ago he passed away, and we lost a great man, a great fisherman, a heart as big as our state of Texas, and it was just saddened. And I know Nancy, hopefully she's listening, and we think of him all the time, Nancy. Great guy, but him and another person. First of all, Jim was really, I guess what the word I want to use, he was really amazed at the shallow water fishing the kayak fishermen were doing, catching redfish and stuff, and he wanted to do that. He wanted to learn how to do that. I've got to do that. So he came down here, and if I may, to take some lessons, kayak lessons and fishing down in salt water and stuff. And the guy that taught him owns a charter in the Randus Pass, and taught him all there was to know. And from then on, Jim did real well. And then he finally retired and moved down here in Randus Pass, and until he passed away. But so we used to see him quite often here in our chapter, and we loved the man. So anyway, what the deal was is that he went kayak fishing with another friend of his, and they started taking, let's invite some veterans out and just get them out on the water. And then they saw immediately the advantage and the healing that provided these veterans that they were taking out. They said, man, we've got to do more than this. We've got to start something. And he initiated it. He even got involved with Brooks Army Medical Center in San Antonio, which is a big military medical center that takes care of most of the most worst injuries and amputees and burns and stuff like that. And he got involved with them, and in fact, we have a chapter there now that strictly works with BAMC, Brooks Army Medical Center, and so he got involved with them, and it just started building up, and so we started our chapter. That was 2007. Our chapter started in 2012 here in Corpus Christi, and one of the guys that Travis Matthews, I'm sure y'all might have heard of him or know him. Excellent kayaker. He's a first respondent, and he started it, and every chapter starts with $0 and no equipment. So what you got to do is find friends that have their own gear and perhaps have a buddy yak. And almost all avid kayakers have a buddy yak. And so, let's start inviting some veterans and get this chapter started. And they started doing that. And then, of course, Facebook, social media, they started picking that up on that. And then I came on board about 4 months after that. I started I came across them on Facebook, and as a veteran, I was already bored because I had already been retired, and I was gone 6 months from working. And I got to do something. I got to get some of that military stuff back. And so I found him on Facebook, and I messaged him. I said, "Hey, I've got a shallow water running boat. I mean, it drifts on 6 inches. It planes on 3 inches, and all I need is 9 inches to get a whole shot. And I'd like to volunteer as a safety boat or a mothership, maybe with a cooler with drinks and cold water and stuff." And he was ready. He said, "Yeah, come on." Well, it wasn't a few months later I became assistant coordinator with him, and then we started building the chapter. And we got a trailer, and we got kayaks, and people were starting to donate a little bit, and it just built up and built up. And one of the things he taught me that I really paid attention to when he was my boss then is that he always said, keep it simple and keep it small. Well, equipment-wise, that's exactly what we've done. In fact, we went from 16 kayaks to 12 kayaks because these new kayaks that are sit on top kayaks are bigger and wider. So that 16 kayaks we had were to sit below, and so we could put 16 kayaks on that trailer. But because of the difference in size, we could only put 12 kayaks on that trailer. And so, and despite the fact that we only have 12 kayaks to offer today, we average between 25 to 30 kayaks on the water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing.
That's the other people bringing theirs.
Well, that's exactly right. And see, when we started back in 2010, and I strongly feel it's about the same time that the kayak business took off. The people wanting to kayak fish, people wanting to kayak, period. That's about the time, I think, that kayaking took off. And I really strongly feel, because we were on social media every month, pictures and videos of our doing things out there on the water and just growing. I really feel that our chapter down here in South Texas and the Coastal Bend was very instrumental in pushing the kayak business and industry in our area. And anybody cares to argue with me, here we are, come on. But and I say that because just this year alone, and we had our last event on November 5th, and we had 51 people sign up to attend, and so you can imagine how difficult it is to find parking space for 51 vehicles, because
Right.
everybody has one vehicle, and some of them will carry 2 or 3 kayaks, some of them will bring trailers with the kayaks, and that kind of thing. So it's difficult to find a good open area where we can have that many vehicles out there. But anyway, we had 51 people registered. We had 29 initially kayaks that were going to be in the water, and we had 5 safety boats, because in November is when the Army Redfish anglers volunteer their time to participate along with our safety boats that are there all the time, every month. And at the same time, Army Redfish anglers who've been around for a while, and this is a professional fishing group, but they support Heroes on the Water nationally as well as our local chapter, and they've been instrumental in donating us a kayak every year for the last 5 years, and that's what prompted us to, hey, we need to change kayaks. I mean, we need to get the new stuff and that kind of thing. So
Those are the Army Redfish anglers, you said?
Army Redfish anglers, yeah. You can find them on the Facebook page. These guys are all veterans, and they tournament fish throughout the year. But every time there's an event and they're not tournament fishing, they've got a booth set up, they got a tent set up, they got this awesome shirts. They have raffles, and all those raffles is what ends up paying for the kayak that they donate to us. And so that's just that's a fantastic organization, man, and I really appreciate them and their help, and a great group. So because we already had our last event on November 5th, and I'm glad we had it early this year, where we're waiting to do it kind of later on this month, but man, the weather doesn't look good obviously this weekend and next weekend, and you don't want to get first-time kayakers in water like this, because
Right.
they're never going to come back.
Yeah.
They're not, no, this is not for me. So you want to
Want
give
them
them,
to have a good time.
yeah, relax, man. That's what it's all about. And this year already we have had over, I actually, when I did our budget for this year, I had advised our higher-ups that our plan was to have 400 veterans go through our program. We had 402. So we feel really good about that. So when you take 400 veterans in 1 year and maybe subtract, I don't know, 10, 20 veterans each year down to 2010, so you can imagine how many veterans and their family members, because we had 78 family members this year. And you have to we encourage family members, because they live with this veteran that might have PTSD, he might have TBI, he might have some physical problems, he might have some mental problems, and the families have to deal with that. You know, you've heard, well, there's 22 suicides a day. Well, it's increased. Last I heard was 24 a day, and that's just too many. That's unacceptable. Man, it just hurts to see and hear about that every day. And so and I think because of that, we have a lot of volunteers that not only are, 90% of our volunteers are veterans and 10% are compatriots. These are civilians that are avid kayakers, but they care. And it's like I told Ram earlier when we were discussing a little bit of this, that the civilians or compatriots get as much healing as those veterans do, because they get to see the smiles on their faces, the hollering and whooping, and they get to see the teamwork and the structure and the organization that our chapter has. And that's one of the biggest things about our veterans when they get out of the military, whether they retire or whether they just have a short enlistment, 3 years, 6 years. They come back into civilian life, and some of them may have problems, physical or mental, but no one tends to them. You know, they come back from, let's say, a combat area of some kind, and they have all these mental problems and stuff, but there's, you know, you get some therapy and some people talking to you about this and that, but it's different when you're getting this kind of therapy in a hospital, cold, and, you know, just empty, versus coming out with us, with all these other veterans, and kayak fishing, and they get out on the water and they paddle, and they leave the demons on shore. and they're out there with volunteers to take care of them because our team leaders are accountable and for these guys, and we have VHF radios for every one of our team leaders, our shore crew, and our safety boat. So we're in constant communication because once they leave, they're out of sight. We don't see them, and that's because our safety boats will tow these guys to a prime fishing spot, not just unload the kayak and start fishing there. You know that doesn't work. You know, you always paddle.
Right.
You pedal the location that you think is good. Well, that's what our safety boats do, and they're there for emergencies. Fortunately, all these 10 years, we've never had one. You know, we've been fortunate enough and safe enough, and you know, we have a safety officer, and he briefs us every event. You know, we do the Pledge of Allegiance, and we bless the event, and you know, we feed breakfast to everybody that attends, and then we feed lunch to everybody that attends, and we got snacks and cookies and soft drinks and water and Gatorade from all of these sponsors that we have, and all these guys appreciate it. Now, I mentioned that you know, that a lot of these participants have their own gear, and I think Ram mentioned it also earlier, but it wasn't always that way. You know, we would sell out quite often, and we may have 4 or 5 veterans that have their own gear that show up, but now we got a tremendous amount because social media, but I think mostly word of mouth. You know, they're out there, you know, and I know because some of the guys that are part of our critical management team is, hey, Joseph, man, I met a guy today and went fishing, and he's a veteran, and I told him about Heroes in the Water, and sure enough, we got an email, hey, I'm interested. I'm interested in either volunteering or I'm interested in participating on a kayak, and we fix them up, and we have paperwork that has to be done. We vet our veterans, and we started this, and our volunteers. We want to know who's out there with us.
Right.
You know, we're just not going to let any Tom, Dick, or Harry come out there and take care of those people or be around us. And so we started vetting our veterans simply because about 4 or 5 years ago, we used to put out where we were going to be, a location. And so the public would see that, and they'd show up, but we don't know. We just let them fish, you know, with us and feed them whatever we had at the time. And so some of the veterans would come back and say, hey, man, that guy's not a veteran. And I heard it too many times.
Oh, wow.
I heard it too many times. So I said, you know what, we're going to start vetting. So now, if you're interested in volunteering, you know, you email us at Heroes on the Water. You email us at coastalbend@heroesonthewater.org. And Heroes is spelled Heroes, not Heros. So and you can go to our website, heroesonthewater.org, and you can send in forms that way, and you can also donate that way. So what happened was that we started vetting people, and in those last 4 years that we started doing this, we have found 80 posers.
Oh, really?
80 people that said, hey, I'm a veteran and I want to do this, you know, but they couldn't fill out the form. They would either not send them back, or they would send them with, hey, man, and if you're a veteran, the question we ask, you can answer them.
Right.
If you're not going to answer them. So we could tell right away that, man, hey, no, so hey, red flag. And so, and the same thing with the volunteers, though. We don't vet them as strongly. We just want to make sure that whoever we have is not going to hurt our veterans.
Right.
And because we have so many veterans in one location, we don't give out our location until about the 3rd day before the event. We send out what we call an operations order, and has all the particulars that you need to know to prepare for that event. Time sequences, what's provided as far as food and snacks and stuff like that, and what times are we going to start, and what times are we going to have lunch, and what times you need to be returning, and who's your team leader, and you know, so when you get there, your team leader knows that you're with him, and he'll start looking for you, or you're looking for him, and our secretary does a good job and our events coordinator does a good job of getting all that squared away in the mornings. And then our critical management team, you know, they unload the kayaks along with volunteers and start setting up the crates, starting up the rod and reels and the flags, because everybody's got to have a flag and everybody's got to have a life jacket no matter what. And our accountability knows that, hey, well, these two guys left with that team leader, these two guys left with that team leader. And so we know how many kayaks we got on the water. And so at the very end, the person in charge of our safety boats, they'll call in and say, hey, has everybody reported in? Yes, they have. You can come back in now. So they have to go to a boat ramp. They just can't come to the beach there where we're at.
Right.
So
where they start, they have to come back.
Well, yeah, if they want to eat, yeah, which they all do.
Okay.
Yeah, they go put the boat on the trailer, and the furthest is usually going to be like maybe half a mile.
Mhm.
So they load up their boat and the trailer, and they come back where we're at. And
Is there any tandem kayaks?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Tandem?
Actually, we have two tandems. Normally, we only use one, and I think it'll be a while before we use a tandem. Yeah, but we do have two tandems, and we have 12 singles, and we know ahead of time who has reserved what.
Okay.
Yeah, so Saturday morning when we get ready to show off, we have our advanced party that meets about 5:30 in the morning, and we start taking off kayaks and putting them what we need up there, unloading them and loading them, and then we take off in the convoy, and we get there no later than 6:45 at each one of these events, and volunteers are already waiting for us there. I mean, and when I say volunteers, I'm not talking about just volunteers to help. I'm talking about the team leaders, because the team leaders want to teach these participants that are interested in kayaking. They want to teach them, hey, this is a rod and reel, and you don't hold the reel up here, you hold it down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And this is the way you paddle, and this is the way you hold your paddle, and this is the way you sit down without flipping over. And they do all of that. They've got like about an hour to set up everything and go and use all that as a teaching block for these new guys. And so that works out really well. And like I said, we don't tell anybody where we're at until the 3 days prior, and to only those that have registered, because we feel like we're a soft target. When you got 50-some veterans in one spot, we're a soft target, and so we're not going to allow. We got security around, so
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Y'all are definitely not a soft target.
No.
Y'all might be vulnerable, but y'all aren't soft at all.
Yeah, we've had people that come barreling in there, man, and we challenge them right off the bat before they get to us. We got people that'll challenge them, because there's some people, there's some issues that we've had with, but we handled it peacefully, and respectfully. We're not there to hurt anybody. We just want our veterans to have a good time and relax and stuff like that. So
it sounds like there's a lot of moving parts.
There are.
But the post that I see, it's smooth. You know what I mean? The help you have really helps. You know what I mean? They're not just there like you say for the food or for the drinks or for the freebies or stuff. They're actually there and helping the heroes on the water,
And that you're correct, Ryan. That's exactly a good way of putting it. And what it is that our what we call a critical management team. These are the guys that without them, we would be in chaos that morning. Everybody be yelling, get this, get that. It's real quiet. Every one of the members that's in the kayak group or the equipment group or the mess group and the accountability group, they've done it. They're consistent, and they've taught others, so that for several years, man, all you'd hear every morning when you get there, Joseph, and no, wait a minute, but they started picking up of how I like to see it done. Mm-hmm. And they started doing that, and so I don't hear my name hardly at all.
Right.
In fact, they want me to get out of the way and sit down. Let us do it, and that's what you need when it comes to volunteers and stuff like that. And so we got a really fantastic group. Now, and I was talking about the numbers earlier for our chapter at 402 is what we ended up finishing with, and we still got a couple of more events coming up for our volunteers. But
all 402 are active.
I'm sorry.
They're all active. All 402, or are some like some from the beginning have faded off, or this
What we did was a staff decided to do a couple years ago. We decided that Hey, we got 400 and something veterans, man. We got 179, almost 200 volunteers. But it's the same 18, 20 that show up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what we did is that we told everybody, if you hadn't participated in 3 years, volunteering or as a participant, we're putting you on an inactive list. There's no reason for us to deal with that many emails.
Right.
You know, and so we were able to get it down to about 100 and something participants and maybe 50 something volunteers. But we have like about at least 18 volunteers every event, and we start coordinating everything 2 weeks prior. And so, and as far as what you'd mentioned earlier about the organization, and yes, because we're a military-minded organization, we're very organized and we're very structured, and the teamwork is just amazing. And this is one of the problems that our veterans have, Ryan, is that when they get out of the service, whether they're retired or whether just a few years in enlistment or whatever, they come back home, and all of the time that they're serving, their adrenaline is way up high. So go, and everything's structured, everything's organized, and, you know, everything is SOP. They get out of the service and they come down to our level as a civilian, and all of a sudden they start experiencing, well, that's not my job. Oh, wait a minute, missed that teamwork. What happened to that? Well, that's not my job. You know, or that's above my pay grade or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to take the responsibility, and they're not used to that. And so they have a hard time transitioning from the military life to civilian life. And that's where we come in. That's where we help them there, and then we help them rehabilitate by putting them on a kayak. And we have some amputees that show up. And we had one guy that was really concerned about, well, you know, the area doesn't have enough disability type for kayakers and stuff, you know. And he wanted me to get with him and help him out to pressure.
Right.
And I said, man, I you know, we can't get involved politically. You know, that someone that asks for donations and stuff, the last thing we want to do, you know, is upset somebody and stuff. And, you know, the way we get by with it is that if there's a guy comes out in a wheelchair and he can't walk, 2 or 3 of our guys will pick him up and put him in that kayak.
Right.
And once he's in that kayak, he's equal to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't have to walk anymore. You know, you just paddle. So that's some of the things that they miss. And like I mentioned in the numbers, we had 402 total. Nationally, I just wanted to say nationally we got over 50 chapters in the nation. We cover 35 states. We'll have 1 chapter in the United Kingdom and 1 in Australia to take care of their own soldiers. But nationally, we have taken care of over 36,000 veterans this year alone.
You said Australia?
Sir?
Where are the chapters out?
One in out of our country. Right. We have 2 out of our country.
Okay.
United Kingdom and Australia.
Those out of the country chapters are for U.S. vets?
No.
Or
those are for Australian vets or British vets.
Okay.
Right. So we have a full-time staff in Allen, Texas, and Dallas, and they run areas, and they support each chapter, and they do an excellent job of producing documents so that we're not stuck with a lot of paperwork.
Right.
And so a lot of it is paperless, and which makes it easy for us down here.
I'm going to stop you real quick.
Yeah, man, I want something to drink.
I had a question.
Yeah.
How can they, we had a couple anglers ask, how can they get involved? Right? You mentioned the email earlier. What was the email? coastal@heroesonthewater.com?
Yeah, coastalband at heroesonthewater.com.
Austin Matthews tagged it on the show.
.org.
And how many Texas coastal chapters are there?
Oh, my goodness.
All of them.
A lot.
Right.
I'd say, I bet. I was looking at the other day because a lady had asked me, had texted me. I don't know how they get my number, but anyway, I think she messaged me. And she said, she asked, do you have any chapters up in North Texas? And I said, well, I know, but, they come and go, and I don't know which ones are really active yet. And so I went and looked at our website, and if you go to find a chapter, and you open that up, it's got all the chapters listed by state. And, of course, ours doesn't say Texas Corpus Christi, it says Texas Coastal Bend, which is what we chose when we first started our chapter. Some of the other chapters have, like, Texas Matagorda or Texas North Houston or Galveston, that kind of thing. So
Right.
I gave her the website, which is heroesonthewater.org, and she was able to go in there and find the chapter she wanted. I never heard back from her, but I'm sure she got it. But yeah, all you got to do if you're interested in participating or volunteering, we have an SOP. If you want to be a team leader, we have an SOP, and we'll send it to you if that's what you want to be.
SOP?
Sorry?
What does that stand for? SOP?
Oh my! Well, it's got a certain criteria that you have to meet.
No, but what does it stand for? SOP?
Oh, standard operating procedure.
Okay.
Yeah, because each one of those guys, each one of those that are veteran, that are team leaders, they've got to meet this criteria. They've got to be able to handle emergencies. They've got to be able to handle fishing techniques. You've got to be able to tie knots. You've got to be able to
Right.
to tell your guys. Because all of our crates have different lures. They have top waters. They have all kinds of soft lures and anchors, sea anchors, and steel anchors, and we got everything everybody else has. It just not maybe your favorite.
Right.
And so all you got to do is email us and tell us what you're interested in, and we'll send you the SOP. And you got to have at least you have to have at least 3 to 4 years of avid kayak fishing. That's really the biggest. And have your own gear. You can't say, well, I've been kayak fishing for years, but we want to use your gear. As no, that belongs to a veteran that
Right.
that needs it. So, and we've had that. Believe me, we've had people that I want to be a team leader, but I don't have any gear.
Right.
No, I didn't.
Uh-oh.
No.
Red flag.
Yeah. So, but they'll volunteer on the shore and stuff like that. And I volunteer on the shore. I've never kayaked in my life, and I really have never wanted to. I can see that it'd be a tremendous amount of fun, but at my age, I'm not even going to try it. And I see a lot of our volunteer team leaders. I see their Facebook pages, and I follow them. We follow each other, and I see some tremendous amount of fishing. Some of them are excellent in salt water and excellent in fresh water, or do both. And we're just real proud of those guys. But yeah, man, come on. We'd love to have you. We need you. We don't start our next event till March. We're done for the winter, but you can follow us on Facebook, and January 1st we'll have all of the events for the rest of the year, and we have 10 on the water events. We have 3 or 4 fundraiser events that some of our volunteers will attend and help out. But as far as what you would have to do as a team leader would be to try to make all 10 events if possible. Not everybody does, but we have volunteers that come all the way from San Antonio. We have like 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
They come from
They
out
come
of
to
the
San
coastal
Antonio, man. They can't wait to come down here.
I guess,
Not only
I guess the Coastal Bend chapter covers San Antonio.
no, they have San Antonio has their own. They have 2
really?
chapters. Yeah, but freshwater and river and lake fishing is not for everybody.
Right.
So they want to come down and do saltwater fishing. And so, hey, look, I'm an avid kayaker. I go to the island or go to the Bay Area once or twice a month, and I'd love to help out on Saturday, and I'll fish on my own Saturday or Friday.
Right.
And they do that. A lot of them do that. They'll camp out on their vehicle. I've had some of them camp out on my living room.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah, I mean, if they want to help us, I'll help them any way I can.
Right.
So. But
Who can be a part of it? As far as an angler, a veteran angler, who can be anybody, any branch, any veteran, any...
That's a good question, man.
Anybody.
I'm glad you brought it up because I didn't cover it. But yes, you do not have to be a combat veteran.
Okay.
You do not have to have PTSD. You do not have to have TBI. All you got to do is be a veteran.
Okay.
Come and join us, enjoy yourself, relax, bring your family, chill. And all of you know that's listening to me right now, all of you have to be kayak anglers that are out there. And you know as well as I do, and our own Ram will agree, once we get our kayaks unloaded and put on the water and we paddle out, man, I don't care what kind of day you've had, it's going to be different out there.
Right.
Completely different. All of the negative things are gone. And that's included on the boat. And that's included when you're wade fishing. It's all the same. It's just very relaxing. So it's a big plus for our guys. It really is. You know, we have
Catching fish is the bonus.
Catching fish is a luxury. That's what travelers used to say. Catching fish is a luxury, and they do catch fish. I put out a bunch of stuff here recently because people kept asking, "Do y'all catch fish?" Well, I'll put a bunch of fishing pictures that were caught for the last 10 years, and
it's not about that.
Huh? But
it's not about that.
No, it's not about that. And the thing is all of these avid team leaders, kayak fishing team leaders that we have, they're all good, just like all of you are out there. Catch fish. But you have your own spot that you like to catch fish, and you do well. But with us, it's different. We've got 10 different locations that we go to. And so 9 of them, you've never been there. So now your playing field is different. So if you want to compete against one of the team leaders, you know, that he's an avid fisherman and stuff, it's not going to happen because you know as well as I do, you fish somewhere different you've never fished before and you're not used to. And this is the first time and maybe the last time this year you'll be there. It's work.
Right.
But just like Ram said, though, that fishing is just catching fish is a luxury. It's not a must. The must is just relaxing, just being out there.
The healing.
Yeah.
Healing part.
Yeah.
Paddle, fish, heal, right?
Sir?
That's one of the models for the
Paddle, fish, and heal.
Paddle,
Yes, sir.
fish, and heal.
That's it. And there's another one that I use quite a bit, and it's we fish, we have fun, and we save lives. And if you go to our Facebook page and you look at the reviews, we have 33. I wish we could have more of it. But 33 is a lot. That'll tell you what kind of group that we're at, what that we are. And those are experiences from 33 people that have come out there with us. And they're all positive. It's all rated 5-star. And if you'll go to our Facebook page and look at all our pictures, not just some, look at all the pictures, and you'll see how we promote our sponsors and our supporters. You'll see all of the events that we have throughout the year, all the kayaking pictures and advanced party pictures with all the trailers coming in, and you know, I mean, it's just amazing how this organization works, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's not like you're gonna. I mean, if you're gonna call kayak fishing work, well, that's about the extent of it. But because within 30 minutes, we've got everything set up. We're ready to go. We're just waiting for safe daylight. And then we have our safety meeting and the Pledge of Allegiance, and then bless the event. And each team leader, man, there they go. Boom, 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 boom. See y'all at noon.
Yeah.
See y'all for lunch.
And then after lunch, they come back, they eat lunch, and then they're off again.
No, because all of you know that, you know, the effort that it takes to fix lunch and feed at noon and start breaking down camp.
Okay, so it's not an
and
all
110
event,
degrees. We love it, you know, and a lot of our chapters up north, they have all these big pine trees and shade trees, and they're out there till 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but they're in the shade. They don't have to put nothing up.
Yeah.
We got to put tents and
Half
tents
of it's
and
up
tents.
for them already.
Yeah. And so when we get through eating, where's all our help gone? They're gone. They're gone. You know, all our help's gone. So we try to get everything put up as they come in. As they come in, that kayak, we need to put it in the trailer. Put it on the trailer. Turn in your rod and reel. Turn in your radios. Turn in your crates. You know, we got guys that know where all that stuff goes. And we're done by 1:30. But the advanced part is not done. We still got to go back to the storage unit, and we got to rinse off all those kayaks and rinse off all our gear.
Yeah, so you don't even have to know how to fish to help, right? If
No,
you want to
no,
help,
no.
just cleaning.
Absolutely.
Just cleaning up stuff.
Absolutely. just hanging out, man. And we got, you know, if you want to help cook, you know, you want to turn some burgers, you want to cut some tomatoes and onions, hey, man, we need you. You know, it's all good.
Right.
And you're going to enjoy yourself doing it because we got some great people out there.
Yeah, I did a seminar years ago. Well, not years ago, right? I got that whole age thing still in my head, right?
Yeah.
And not against your age, but my age. Come Monday, guys, it's another milestone event for me, right? But y'all, I'm sure y'all will see it on my feed. Years ago, I did a kayak seminar for Heroes on the Water. That was when I first met you, years and years. You probably don't remember. I barely.
Perfectly.
Even
I got pictures of it.
right?
Yeah, I do.
I haven't done one since. You know, maybe we could talk after the show to get one.
What
going
I-
again.
what-
I'm sure. I don't know, but I'm sure I've learned quite a bit of stuff since then. I was young. That was what, like
That
10 years ago, probably?
Yeah, that was
15 years ago?
yeah, no,
I
well,
couldn't
no,
have been
that was we've only been around 10 years, so that had to been like 8, maybe 9 years.
Right,
ago.
8, 9
Yeah,
years
8, 9 years ago, and that was at the CCA, Texas Parks and Wildlife
Yeah.
Marine Hatchery.
Yeah.
And that was a special event that we had. No one fished that day. We just invited anybody who was interested in kayaks and stuff like that. That we were going to have all these special guys like yourself. You know, there were several others that I wish I could mention the names, but you know who they are, Ram. You know who was there.
Yeah.
And they're still active today. You know, and they still support us. But we haven't had that in a while. I would love to be a part of an event like that again, if somebody wanted to sponsor it. And we could certainly get the people out there, whether they're veterans or whether they're just compatriots or civilians,
Right.
that would be interested in that kind of thing. Another one would be that I'm very interested in, and we met a guy at our last event that saw us out there, and he came running and stuff, and an older gentleman, probably my age, maybe older. I can't believe anybody's older. But he said, "What are y'all doing?" I don't know. We explained to him and stuff like that, and he says, "Well, do you think you guys would enjoy fly fishing, or a seminar on fly fishing?" And I said, "Well, we have some fly fishermen." And then my treasurer, he said, "Well, I tie flies." So the man was inviting us to hold some kind of a seminar like you're talking about on fly fishing. And so we're waiting for him to contact us so we can maybe do something like that in the future. And like I mentioned to you earlier, we're looking for somebody to start or create an event to where we have a golf course, a golf tournament of some kind benefiting Heroes on the Water. That's one thing we haven't done. We just got through with Bikes on the Bay, and some other events that we had. That's the kind of things that we need, and those are the kind of things that we can support with people.
Right. So you're looking to expand other than kayak fishing.
Well, no, I'm not. We don't want to really teach them about how to golf. What we want is the money that event is going to make.
Okay.
You know, as a donation, so that we can continue providing these events. You know, these events are not cheap. I mean, when you have that many people and you're feeding them and providing drinks and all this new equipment that we have and stuff like that, man, you're looking. I mean, even when we used our old equipment, you know, we were looking at $3,000-4,000 a year.
I'm probably one of the best golfers coming out of Robstown.
The best what?
One of the best golfers that come out of Robstown.
Oh.
And I got a guy. We talked about it earlier. I got a guy that great dude, veteran as well, right? That
Oh wow.
he might be able to get. I'll definitely have to contact him and get some insight on that.
Absolutely.
But I think it would be a hit, man.
Oh, I do too.
You
I
know?
mean, we have other chapters that I've seen. They have barbecue cook-offs. They have
You ever
golf
tasted
tournament.
my barbecue?
Sir?
You ever tasted my barbecue before? My mollejas?
No, I've never had the privilege
Or
of being
machitos.
invited to taste your barbecue.
Man, I'm gonna have to whip up some barbecue.
Oh,
Not this weekend, right? Because I got a busy weekend.
Well, whenever you cook a brisket, let me know. I'll provide one.
Man, Mr. Briones, we've gone 59 minutes already.
Oh, really?
And we haven't given away a single thing.
Oh, well, what are you waiting
Right.
on then, dude?
First person, guys. And I'm super pumped because everybody's just been sticking around. They're either sticking around because what you're talking about, they're sticking around because, man, this guy's got to give away something at some point of this show, right? First person to tell me. We're gonna give away. We can't say giveaway. We're gonna get in trouble. We're gonna say spooled away. We're gonna spool away 2 Heroes on the Water, exactly like the way we got them here. It's not ours. These are brand new, right? Heroes on the Water koozies, along with a brand new Spooled Life Live cap.
What a deal.
Right? What a, man, this is amazing.
And you're giving that away?
We're just going to give it away. We're not going to give it away.
Oh.
Mr. Briones, we're going to spool away.
Oh.
Right? We're
Cool.
spooling it away. You're going to get all this stuff. I guarantee you, Austin Matthews is on his keyboard right now waiting to just type away the answer. First person, guys. We got 2 koozies and a Spooled Life Live cap. Right, I'm gonna be doing some giveaways to whoever comes up with some pictures with Spooled Life Live gear. These giveaways are gonna be big. They're gonna be huge. They're gonna be ice chests. They're gonna be fishing rods. We got big things coming in 2023. Can't say nothing right now, right? But I can say that, right? Big things for whoever has Spooled Life Live merch. First person to tell me when the year that the Coastal Bend chapter started, right? Not Heroes on the Water. The year the Coastal Bend chapter started. First person to tell me that gets a free cap and 2 koozies along with 2 Heroes on the Water stickers to put on the side of your kayak and represent a group worth representing, guys, right? 2012 is the right answer, and Mr. Tony Gooch is the winner. Mr. Tony Gooch, slide into my DMs.
That's not fair.
And we will send you, I'll get this stuff sent out ASAP.
I love Tony, man. Tony was our one of our safety boat captains for many years, and
Oh, really?
yeah, and then he got into kayaking, and him and his wife both are avid kayakers, and he's a real good fisherman too, and so now he's become our safety officer, and he does a fantastic job out there of making sure that all our safety stuff is being taken care of and
Right.
Adhered to.
I want to get involved, man. The Spooled Life Live wants to get involved. I'm sure some of the viewers want to get involved. We've mentioned it before, but I want to mention it again because I think it's important to know how can we get involved. It's the Coastal
Bend
Bend,
at heroesonthewater.org.
right?
That's it.
Or message somebody.
Or you can message us on
Right.
Facebook. We'll answer that as well.
Facebook is Heroes on the Water, Coastal Bend chapter.
It's Coastal Bend, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's actually on the. If you're watching this show, it's at the top.
that's right.
Right. It's at the top of the show. Click the link. Send Mr. Briones a message,
Yeah,
and he'll get you set up, man.
absolutely. I just want to say that once again, I want to thank Ram and Roy's Bait and Tackle for the opportunity to tell our story, and I hope that you all enjoyed a little bit of my life, but mostly what we do at Heroes on the Water. And those of you that are interested in volunteering, whether it's on shore or whether you want to be a team leader and take out a couple of veterans, remember we provide everything for them, or they have their own gear. And 70% of all of the kayaks that are in the water belong to veterans that got hooked and bought their own gear. It's one thing you will not regret. You will not regret being a part of the Howe family.
Right. The Facebook again is Heroes on the Water Coastal Bend chapter. There's tons of chapters.
Right.
Right. We have the reminding y'all this is the Coastal Bend chapter. Braden Remington is in the house. We'd like to try to get the Islander anglers involved, right? Maybe you all can.
I would love to have those guys. I have
Great
tried.
group as well.
I have tried several times to get them interested. For some reason, I really haven't had much luck. But man, yeah, you guys want to get in with us and help out, or even lead. Man, we'd love to have you. You would be a big asset to us,
Right.
and it would be an asset you getting involved for yourself as well.
Braden Remington is the main dude.
Okay.
So he's the guy we need to talk to
Absolutely.
to get that happen. Y'all get in touch with each other.
Absolutely.
One more question
Yes, sir.
before we roll it up here. Everybody's giving me dirty looks. And man, we want to get out of it. People want to buy the stuff behind you, and the security's blocking them off and stuff. And
They're breaking the door down.
sponsorships, right? This is for the dealers that are watching, right, or that are going to watch later, right?
Yeah.
With the time change, they might still be sleeping, you know, whatever. Right? The sponsorships, how do they become? If somebody wants to donate a whole bunch of fishing rods, if somebody wants to donate a whole bunch of fishing reels,
Man, I'm glad
if
you
they just
mentioned
want to donate a monetary
I'm glad you
donation.
mentioned that, because right now, what we'd like to, if we wanted any equipment right now, and we prefer used, rod and reels is something. Spinning reels is something we need, but in good condition. Not something that, hey, all the eyes are broken or the
Right.
reels jammed. And no, we need some backup rod and reels of good quality that are been taken care of and loved, and that rod and reel that you donate, could save somebody's life. So it's important that it was something that we're working. But as far as sponsorship is concerned, we have what we call corporate sponsors. These are, of course, all our donations are tax deductible, and every company that we have several companies that donate annually. We're very appreciative of them. And we provide them all of the documentation so that they can use it as a tax exempt. If you let's say, for instance, that you donate some rod and reels that are slightly used or in good condition, and you want to write it off, we'll provide you a letter so that you can send or you can add to your income tax as a write-off. We'll furnish all that stuff for you. So we have the corporate sponsors, and then we have grants, which we don't have any. We need to start working on that. Excuse me, this beer's good.
Telling you,
But
man, they're going down
our
good.
national people are the ones that actually work on the big, large grants. We work on the local grants. We have several companies that are large, but they have opportunities to ask for help and support locally. And we do that ourselves for that. And of course, our social media helps out a lot. And like I said, we sponsor, or we advertise, and we promote anybody that sponsors us. And it's that easy. And then we also have individual donors that'll donate anything from $25 to $1,000, and it all helps, and it all adds up at the end of the year. It allows us to meet our budget, and we can't rely on it because we don't know if you want to donate again next year.
Right.
So if we don't know that, then we can't put it in our budget for next year that we're going to have this much money. So we want to buy this and buy that and buy that. Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
We're not going to ask for it. But all the money that we make, and all of the years that we've been making money, it all goes to our chapter here, and
Stays here.
Yes, sir. Well, yes, sir. Our chapter has never been denied a single penny for anything that we buy. They've been very supportive, and we really appreciate them for allowing us to do that. And then you have other sponsors that provide a service. We have several lure manufacturers. I'm not going to mention any names, but we have several lure manufacturers that volunteer. And they're volunteering their time, which is a cost. And so we promote them. So, and then our volunteers, every one of our volunteers has a value. And if you Google what the value is worth for a volunteer. It's $28 an hour. So if we got 19 volunteers on one event, and it's 8 hours times $28 each, that's a tremendous amount of money. Value of those volunteers. So the volunteers are the backbone of our organization. I don't care how much money we have or can spend, without the volunteers, zero. We ain't getting nowhere.
Right. 2023.
Yeah, man, can't wait. No, I
Coming in
can't. I'm
close.
tired.
We're all going to be 1 year older,
Oh yeah.
right? Some of us are already 1 year older. Not me. I will be. But what can we expect out of the How group?
We can expect another awesome 10 on the water events full of life saving techniques and water stuff, adventures. And we advertise them as adventures because to a lot of these guys, it's exactly what it is. It's an adventure. And all the different locations that we go to some of you guys that you think you're hot, let's see how you do on some of these places you've never been before. So, but it's all in fun, guys. So there's no competition. It's all in fun. We want to have a good time. And the principal thing here is our veterans. We want to get their minds set on positive things, and we want them to be in a relaxed mode at all times. We don't ever get in a hurry for anything. I don't care how late it puts us. We're not going to get in a hurry. We're going to be relaxed when we get in the water, and we're going to look forward to coming back again next month. I just wish we could do it more than once a month, but we've gotten so big as far as participants that, and I'm afraid to ask a volunteer, can you spare another Saturday?
Right.
We can't do it. So we're good. We're as far as our SOP for Heroes on the Water, in order to stay active as a chapter, all we need is 3 events a year, and we're anywhere from 10 to 17 a year. So we're in good shape.
I got you. We got one more spool away, right?
Yes,
If
sir.
you checked out the group page, which I'm sure you have, some people tell me that man, well, I don't even get the notifications anymore, right? I don't know how to, guys. Like I told y'all, I think it's 31 episodes ago. I have no idea what I'm doing up here, right? The internet goes down, if the cameras go down, if the mics go down, Spooled Life Live goes down, right? But Oprah's doing it, Joe Rogan's doing it, and now Ram Garcia's doing it. So I don't know. I don't really know how to make sure you all get the notifications. Just keep on checking in, right? We give away a whole bunch of stuff. We have some of the best groups, dealers coming into the show, and we had a giveaway, right? Everybody that entered, I got y'all's names right here. My man, Mr. Briones, is going to pick one from here, and we're going to get this sent out at a high rate of speed. So pick one of these names. Don't look at them either. Just one. There you go. There you go. Who is it?
Oh, no. Is that Noe?
Noe's Artucci. Noe's Artucci, veteran as well.
6.
You are the winner, man. We're going to
Alright.
send you this package. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Noe.
Noe's Artucci is actually part of the Roy's Pro Team.
That name sounded familiar.
Yeah, great dude. Veteran. Fish catcher. Kayaker as well. He's actually one of the ones that asked if he could help out and how to help. So he'll be reaching out to you, I'm
Awesome.
sure.
Looking forward to
Great
having
dude.
somebody that quality.
What else, Mr. Briones? What else you got?
Man, I tell
Shout
you.
out to the How team.
I'm sorry?
I forgot about that. Okay, let's give a shout out to the How Heroes on the Water team.
To the How team. Yes, sir. I'd like to thank our secretary Miranda Lernemeyer. She's been with us for several years now, and is doing a great job taking care of our emails and our media waivers and liability waivers, which we're paperless, so all those waivers can be filled out once you get confirmation that you've made the cut for the event. And because we want to also thank our treasurer, Michael Mendoza. He does a great job of keeping me straight on our finances, and and he also coordinates a shooting match once a year at Three Rivers, which this year he won first place long rifle and got an awesome 270, and then I won first place on a shotgun and got an awesome Italian shotgun. Yeah, so we got some shooters, man. Let me tell you,
Right.
and this event is fantastic. Usually in March, so start practicing. It'll be out on our Facebook page.
That's for everybody.
Oh
That's
yeah,
an everybody
yeah,
event.
yeah. Oh, we got so many people. We got a lot of DPS out there, sheriff's department, and local PDs, and there's individuals, and they're not as good a shot as I think they are.
Yeah. If y'all are going to be posting pictures of shooting paper all day long, go to one of these events and prove it, right?
Yeah, you're not going to have a feeder 30 feet from your blind. This is 200-yard target, man, about the size of a quarter. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it is awesome, and I want to thank Amy Alvarado. She's our events coordinator, and takes care of coordinating our different locations and stuff. And we also, she's been around for 2 or 3 years, and we want to also thank Ricky Limas, who's our communications specialist. He does a majority of our videos and stuff, and also Ruben Pena. He does a lot of our videos as well. He just put one out here recently that we just posted yesterday, I believe. And then we also have Mike Surrey, who takes care of our kayaks and stuff. And we have Gilberto Flores, who is in charge of our kayaks when Mike's not around, because Mike lives in San Antonio and Michael Mendoza lives in San Antonio. And then we have Mike Crothers, who takes care of the equipment trailer. In fact, we got a new one. We got some work to do. We got a work day scheduled for the 10th of December, and hope to have all our new equipment ready for next year. And those are the key players. Our safety officer Tony Gooch, who just won a prize. He's been around for years, and it's just been awesome. I could cover.
Yeah, we could be here all day.
Oh,
long.
we could, man. We got some fantastic people, and maybe if I get invited next year with Ram, maybe I'll mention your name.
Oh, I guarantee it, man, for sure. And the Spoiled Life Live will definitely be involved as well, along with some of the Spoiled Life Live members, right?
Awesome.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I probably missed a couple giveaways somewhere around there. We'll get to them.
You were busy.
Yeah, man, it was a bunch of good stuff talking about. We'll probably have to have a part 2 of the
Awesome.
Heroes on the Water group alongside the Spoiled Life Live. Right.
Hero, man. You're the man.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you for Roy's Bait and Tackle for providing this beautiful studio, real sportswear, and keeping us nice and fresh. Karbach Brewery. If y'all haven't checked it out, you'll shoot your eye out. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Topping it off with Twang beer salt, right? And Sarge custom rods. Keeping those rods bent up and keeping those fish on the stringer, right? We can't keep them all, though, right?
No.
That's gonna be my New Year's resolution. Start letting go more fish. Somebody posted on one of my posts, man, you don't even let go anything.
It's
man.
easy.
It's like, man, well, you know what? That gives me a reason, because I can't just say, you know what, I'm not gonna drink at all for 2023, right? I'm not gonna eat. I'm gonna give up refried beans for 2023, or
That's
something like
too
that.
much.
Right? You know what? I'm gonna give away. I'm gonna let back some of the fish I catch. Some, right? Thank y'all so much for tuning in. The next flyer will be out. Man, it's a quick one, because the next show, I want to say it's next week. I really don't. I need to
19th.
check that again, but I want to say it's next week. The flyer will be out, and it's going to be a hell of a show. Thank you so much, man, Mr. Briones.
Man.
If y'all want to help Coastal
Band at heroesonthewater.org.
And it could be something little, right? It doesn't have to be something major. It could just be something where the emails get sent out. I get some of them right? It could be something as little as you just cruising in and helping one of the guys out load up his kayak. You know, it could be as little as cleaning some of the kayaks that are coming back in. It could be as little as just you just giving some fishing tips.
Absolutely.
Right? Check that out. It's a good cause. It's a good group. Saving lives, one paddle at a time.
Here.
We will see y'all here in the next week. Thank y'all so much. Y'all enjoy the weekend. I know I'm gonna enjoy mine. I hit another milestone. I keep saying that because I hope y'all are saving y'all's money, right? To send me over something in the mail or something, right? I mean, you only get this year, one in a lifetime.
Well, what would make you happy is donate to Hal.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Don't donate to me. Don't. Thank you so much, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Briones.
Thank you, sir. Enjoyed it.
Thank you all. We'll see y'all next time.